I'll go to the second question. It was about how can I prove by myself where I am standing in meditation? Well, why do you want to stand anywhere? That's a question. Meditation is a tool, a method, and this is, don't use it as a way to, don't use it as a way to make your ego bigger, all right? And because otherwise it will bring your even more suffering, I would say. If you want to scale yourself, okay, I'm a very good meditator, or I'm a really bad meditator today, and just drop meditation. I mean, and just develop, I don't know, wisdom. Otherwise, okay, I'm very good meditator. Yeah. And as I said last time, there was a question about uh, up and downs in meditation. And if you recall this session, I said that you can have or develop very good concentration at some steps of the practice, at some development. And then maybe 1 week after, with inside practice developing, then this concentration could no longer be acquired. And because there is a map of insight and there are different phases that you are developing through insight practices. And during some of those phases, you can really apply lots of efforts. And regardless of the effort put into the practice, your mind will actually won't let you concentrate. It will be very edgy and so on. And I say, well, actually, it's sign of good progress. So it really depends. And two meditation sessions are not the same. It depends also what you've done before, after, and so on. So do not make meditation as a gauge of being a good person or not a good person, right? So it's another ego trap. Nevertheless, if you are practicing serenity, tranquility meditation, and you cannot be tranquil, never, then yes, you have to look at the 5 hindrances. So they are restlessness, ill will, skeptical doubt. I have to remember. Worry. And sloth and torpor. Look at if those 5 ingredients are somewhere, and for each of them there are some antidotes. But they might be the hindrances that prevent you for developing serenity. So of course, if it's your goal that developing serenity or calm mind before going into insight practice, and you rarely manage it, then of course you have to look at those five hindrances. Or mm, if you want to develop uh, samadhi, concentration, the 8 jhanas, for example, the 8 levels of consciousness, then you have to look at, there are some faculties that have to be balanced. I think those might be the 5 spiritual faculties. I'm not sure about that because there are always kind of lists of different ingredients to balance your practice. So it's possible that there are some, but then in order to really, if this is really your question, so for example, why I would like to evaluate if I'm able to reach that state or not, or if that state I'm experiencing in meditation uh, is this one, or this one is level number 5 or level number 8, then we will have to talk together. And depending on what you can tell me you're experiencing, I could tell you that most probably you are there and there, right? But if you want a label, I'm a good meditator, I'm not a good meditator, then ask yourself why you need that. Do you have to have another skill, or to have another, yeah, I don't know, something else that you want, another medal, or because this is not what it is about, right? You have to do with the up and downs of meditation. And you do your meditation, maybe you review it a little bit, and then you let it go, you forget about it, and then you start again. All right. And meditation is not a goal in itself, right? It's liberation of mind, of heart, your awakening. So we were talking about non-identification, not self. Do not take mindfulness as yourself. Do not identify with mindfulness. Well, I would rephrase it. Mindfulness is not self, and awareness is not self either. And I would give you an advice, all right? Hmm. Do not use the label of Buddhist mm, how to say that in English? This is not because you are a Buddhist that you are better than people who are not aware, or that people who have developed less wisdom, or people who have never ever uh, let's say, I don't like even this way of saying, but develop themselves spiritually. All right. Do not say I'm a Buddhist, I have more awareness than others and more understanding about way things are. So I should show them, or I should try to convince them that they are wrong. They are wrong view. All right. Please don't do that. Do not try to convince anyone. If someone wants to know, will he will he or will she say so, right? Otherwise, it would just be a point of view against another point of view. The Buddha didn't, for example, at the time of the Buddha, there was no Buddhism first. Yeah, being a Buddhist just means nothing. It's just a name, a label. I don't know what even Buddhism means actually. I know what the Buddha's teachings are, but being a Buddhist, for me, it's just another concept. But at the time of the Buddha, there was this rule actually, which was that bhikkhus, the monks, and the bhikkhunis, the nuns, they were not allowed to prepare food for themselves, to buy food for themselves. They would have, well, in the Theravadian tradition, they had a bowl, and they would have to go from village to village, and to maybe sit at one place, and then to wait for the villagers to put some food in their bowls, right? So they would really depend on people from the village, from the villages, from the farmers to be fed, right? And it's still going on in the Theravadian tradition. They really beg for food. That show what? That show that even the monks developing, I don't know, you can call it wise wisdom, high wisdom, or I don't know why. No, their life depends on farmers, people from the villages, uneducated people, those who maybe do not practice the Dharma, who do not care about the Dharma because they are just trying to survive. And the monks were there with their bowl. They've never, if the villagers wanted to hear the Dharma, they would give a talk. Otherwise, they would say nothing. Not, okay, give me some food and I will try to convince you that your way of living is not right. Right? Do they do that? Never. No. The Buddha didn't go to a place and say, okay, I'm going to try to convince you that you're wrong. But if some people would come to him and ask him questions or about this view and this view, then of course he would elaborate. So this is not because you meditate, this is not because you are a Buddhist that you are better than someone who is not practicing, right? Do not put yourself this kind of idea to, this is not a way to prop you up with anything. And we do not, there is no, when we make that distinction between, we use ignorance, the term ignorance in Buddhism, and one can say that one of the goals of the teachings are actually to reduce ignorance in our life. And so it's easy then to categorize people between ignorant people and non-ignorant people, and people who know. Yes, right. So don't do that. Don't classify like that either. All right. Give if questions are asked, but do not try to convince or let people come to you. Or do not put yourself in the position of the one who know more, and or when you expose something, then I told you, I told you that you're suffering again. Why didn't you listen to me? Yeah, okay. Yeah. So it's related to right speech. Find the right moment to talk, and you talk with humility, and you talk when the other one is ready to receive the message. So again, back to that question, how can I prove by myself where I'm standing in meditation? Yes, we want to prove where we are in order to find a location. We want to find a location. We want certainty. We want a degree in meditation as well, because we are afraid of uncertainty and we like to classify things. And through that, it makes up our identity, right? I have this and this level in meditation. If you want to know more about uh, the kind of insights to develop, then there are lists of jnanas, knowledges that has to be developed in the course of insight practice. But those are two different things. But yes, for the first stage of awakening in the Theravadian tradition, please correct me if I am wrong, there are something like 16 knowledges to develop in the course of the insight practice, right? Hmm. And I would say that at some point, over the course um, of the practice, the dukkha is expected to be reduced. If there is really, yeah, development of panya, wisdom. Through cultivation, dukkha, suffering, should be reduced. must be reduced at some point. At some point, you might feel it very strongly, but again, it really also depends on where you are on the different phases of your stage of awakening, because there are ups and downs. So you can feel very happy, joyful when you start to really see the rising and passing away of phenomena. And then when you are about to hit your first like stream entry, then you are going through a kind of dark night, and this is a very difficult moment to go through. So I would say it has to be discussed with a teacher. So I had some feedback from last week class about the not self, and it was a person who said, "Oh, I understand now. Not self means that everything is changing, but still at the core there is something not changing." All right, and this was a very strong misunderstanding of the teaching. So I would like just to say that not self, the realization is not of not self, is actually recognizing that there is no core at all, that there is corelessness. So that there is nothing, even if it feels like there is something that keeps being the same, that there is someone having those experiences, even if it feels like this, if everybody says it is the case, then the insight practice should bring you to the realization that no, it's not. There is nothing palpable about. Even if you have this body, you can touch it, you can bring things, and so on. Proper insight will show you that there is no that reality has to be considered otherwise. But I would need another hour to explain that. Like space, time, myself, they all arise all together and vanish all together. Even being in the here and now is should be just used as a provisional view, because the present moment needs your belief that there is someone experiencing a time to actually be. Even the conception of time, of space, of this present moment need you to be conceived, and not as an let's say ultimate reality. So there is no core inside of you, and this is what has to be realized. And maybe what I also didn't say clearly is that because there is no core, because there is no solidity, then it's very liberating. It's very liberating then you can live the life with less pressure. You might feel less pressured by life, um, having those different kind of insights. And the more you peel off the layers of this mechanism of I making, me making, the more life becomes lighter. You are less pushed and pulled by the vicissitudes of life, I would say. So this should be a consequence of the insight practice overall. All right, that was today's talk. Thank you for your attention. And if you have any comments or feedback, please feel free to say something or to stay silent or to ask more questions through the form. I'll say, please feel free to leave if you need to. Okay. Bye bye.